Hello and welcome to a new episode of Despair Mode, amazingly enough. I don't think I was ever going to make another one of these, but I became obsessed with this game a few months ago because it seems to be made perfectly for me. It is a Dao Punk Taiwanese punishingly difficult Metroidvania with furries. It's bloody, it's violent, it's horny, it's full of intrigue and philosophy, beautiful art, beautiful music. Uh, what else could I ask for? Uh, so I'm just going to play through the first little bit of it because I wanted to recommend this game to everybody, but many of the qualities that make it perfect for me make it off-putting for some other folks. Ah, poor E. There he lies, menaced by tentacles in life as in death. His Iron Man heart piece shattered and broken, but the will of the Tao is that he does not die here, and instead he has to be reawakened by the flute of a beautiful young boy, as you might imagine. The beautiful young boy reminds him of his sister, incidentally, in case you think that was weird, you know. See, here's the sister. She plays her flute, and the flowers of death arise. She is summoning death, because those are corpse flowers, as we find out later. But here is Chuan Chuan, who is the new life that comes after death. He is a human being, although you may notice that he has some differences from the humans that we know. Like, he is an even-toed little critter. He has, like, sandal feet. And he has the sort of grayish-purple hair covering his eyes, which is common to all members of his species, because our cat aliens have been doing some selective breeding on them. But meanwhile, here's E. He's smoking up as he does. That's the source of many a meme. Incidentally, the that fish skeleton remains there throughout the entire game. You can come back and visit it if you want. The language that Chuan Chuan is speaking is a conlang made for this game, which is meant to derive from sort of medieval Chinese dialects. I'm going to play Yi as not as much of an asshole as you can play him as in this case. Yi's dialogue choices range from full asshole to moderate asshole. But Xuan Xuan needs a flower for the ritual that he's about to participate in, and so we need to be tutorialized on our way there. Can't get at that corpse currently. Although maybe we can from here, yes. I found the exit, but there's no way to go back now. That is what a dead human being looks like. You notice the skull's a bit off, too. We've been breeding humans for their fat, meaty brains. Xuan Xuan is an artist. He is the world's most talented and you know, he's basically the little boy of the future. He represents everything that is the promise of civilization. And he just needs our tutelage to achieve all of that. Where are you, Crimson Hibiscus? Now we see some of the native fauna of this idyllic little island that we are on. Or are we? We never really run into a boar again. This is a very plot-sensitive boar. All he does is steal that flower and run away, and we never meet any others of his kind. I love the little stings of the sort of sansheng that you get whenever there's a sort of a dialogue option or you click on anything, essentially. Hey, enemies. You may notice the little collars around these worms' neck. These are not natural-born creatures, but they're evidence of a planned agricultural economy, which is something that's going to come up later. Ow. There we go. And here we have our boar, who we're going to mercilessly smack into paste. It is maybe telling that the sort of the first thing that you do, plot-wise, is to kill a creature that can't fight back. Might be significant, might not be, thematically. But this should be your first indication that he is not necessarily a great human being. I mean, he's not a human being. You know what I mean. He's not the model cat person. But he does like Xuan Xuan and is willing to really go out of his way to help Xuan Xuan out. Kedong. So Xuan Xuan runs away to his village, and we put on our giant hat so that people can't see that we're a cat demon. And we roll out into this idyllic sunset village. This game is really good at atmosphere, weather tones, and the colors of nature, particularly the colors of the sky, which is significant because this is not a real sky. What we're looking at here is the inside of a dome, because this entire island, and you see sunrise is the first thing that we talk about, and this is like, you know, sunrise, sunset, time moving, the natural order occurring in this idyllic little human village where all these creatures wear masks. See, she's pregnant, you know. Masks that are meant to imitate the gods. And who are the gods, you might ask? Well, there's a statue of one right there. Let's see what the shaman has to say. Yes. The 10 merciful souls descended from heaven and took these creatures into this ideal village where they are safe from all depredation, and all that they need in return is a few fortunate children to be sent to live with the gods. And yes, here is a god, right here, one of the souls. And when I first played the game, I thought, well, this is just sort of an idol. I mean, he looks like me, that's a bit of a coincidence. That is actually a statue of E specifically. Right? It turns out that E is, in fact, in charge of the human enclosures, because this was all his idea. Hello, Shenong. Shenong is from history, or I should say from folklore. Shenong is a real folkloric figure from the prehistory of China, and is, I think, the founder of one of their early sort of mythological dynasties, the Tsai or something like that.
Yourself.
I like him. I like a good, fat, ugly character. I mean, who turns out to be a noble hero. It seems like something that happens in Chinese mythology more than it does in Western mythology, and I appreciate it.
No silence.
Hey, Xuan Xuan. Yes, Xuan Xuan is going to visit the gods, which is also where his mom and dad went. And we'll find out more about that in a second, but first we have to have a meal. The focus on domesticity in this game is also extremely intentional. Like, we are definitely putting the quotidian up against the mystical here, and ultimately trying to convey the idea that they are the same thing. Xuan Xuan is so brave. Who would have thought that playing the flute would make someone pop out of that stone? But yeah, food and drink, very important in this world. And here we see that E has been using up what little battery power remains to his little digital familiar fish here by showing Xuan Xuan cool three-dimensional effects as he tells some stories about mountains and rivers. Because E misses his sister. He really does. And that is kind of the main theme of the story. And his ability to let go or not let go is very much the center of the problem here. But here we have Ruyi, the computer, Abacus, as he is known. Yeah.
Okay.
How's the security at the 8-man facility? I do have my Mystic Nymph.
Okay.
Alright, here we go. It is festival time. Now, Shenong knows that something's wrong. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I do it all the time. Yeah, and it is in fact me who is watching through the eyes of my statues. Demons, the kind that eat people. Not exactly, but essentially correct. So, again, like, notice how richly the color grading changes with the changing of the time, and how we see that the leaves are beginning to fall off the trees. It's an autumn festival. I guess those are blossoms, not leaves. It's a spring festival. My bad. Well, this is quite an edifice right here. Now here we see one of, the tech is one of my favorite things going on in this game, just generally. Like, look at that architecture. It's so pretty. I just like... I need more futurism that is not the futurism of my culture or specifically Japan, you know? That is part of what I'm looking for. So anyway, the mystical hat gets put on this dude, and he's gonna get got big style now. Ugh. So, we're not just saving humans here. E still doesn't really care about individual humans at this point. He just likes Xuan Xuan, specifically. And it's mostly because Xuan Xuan can play the flute. Which just goes to show that you're never really wasting your time doing music. Alright, come on. Get into the decapitation machine, bud. I love these sort of manga slash manhwa slash whatever the Chinese term for it is, or Mandarin, or Hokkien, or whatever, for these comic inserts. I love the interstitial sound effects also. Oh, he is so cool. So cool. I love that one after effect of E's talisman power is that he's always facing away from the explosion like a true cool guy. Alright, let's not go with that one. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine here in his village now that their belief system has been destroyed. We're just going to leave him here and go about our roaring rampage of revenge that we've got going on. Oh, and here we are in the pit, surrounded by lumps adorned with hibiscus flowers. Oh, hello. Isn't that great? I mean, it feels so good, the combat in this game, but it really only feels good once you've got a handle on it. It feels quite bad up until that point. It's like, this is a game that humbles you. Alright. It's one of many yin-yang that you will see over the course of this. But yeah, I love the storytelling. Like, in the background, you see those corpses with their flowers going by in their little pods. You get access to the entire sort of process. And look, it's an undifferentiated meat sack with a bloody crimson hibiscus in it. Flowers and clothes are usually mixed with the rest of the useless parts and disposed of. But what we're really after, you can see here, is the brain. Ah! Missed my parry, which is a theme that will go on here in the background. And the great thing about this is on my first playthrough I didn't even notice all this background detail because I was too busy trying not to die. This game really does like reward playing through it repeatedly, but yes, you can see the corpses being disassembled for further use. Oh, the limb tanks. Ah. Ow. I'm just gonna open this treasure chest while we're here. There we go. I love that that all of the background tracks and like, don't you love the music here, by the way? The sort of the distorted vocal effects. It's so good, but each of the themes has a theme that kicks in for serious battles that sort of weaves in and out of the main theme depending on, you know, what your circumstances are. Yep. Hey, hey, hey. No, once they're aggro, they're aggro. No escaping it. Ow. I would have loved to have been able to impress you guys by playing this while I was still sharp. But it's been a moment. So I'm just trying to get back into it now. But yeah, look at these mounds of hibiscus in the background. Really gives you a sense of the scale of the tragedy here, you know. Every one of those used to be a villager. And while their flesh is going to be used for some stuff, like, what's really going on here is we need their brains. And as to why we need their brains, you're just going to have to find that out later. But here we have, there is the statue of us. That is the statue of Yi with the monitors, so Shenong was correct about that. And we keep individual records of every one of our livestock, which is almost German of us, really. See that ape men are capable of abstract thinking even prior to undergoing transmutation. And the ape men first appeared on the pale blue planet, which is not where I come from. So it looks like Shenong has also escaped. And that silhouette over there with in the red also seems to be familiar. Yes, we Abacus correctly intuits that we're all doing this for this kid right here, but we'll find out more later. Ooh, look at those things in the background. I wonder if we'll be able to visit those later. This gets as close as you can in like a two-dimensional Metroidvania environment to a sort of Souls-esque, you know, you see the thing in the background and eventually you'll be able to visit it. Those temples, I think, also we're going to get to see eventually, closer up. But in the meantime, there's doings to be done. Specifically in this case, we have to get through a set piece. Ah, he got me with the backswing. There we go. Go. I missed. Oh, right. I don't have enough juice to kill those things before they explode right now. I will later on. But we are gradually escaping the 8-men facility. Things are getting a little bit less immediately storytelling, but I want us to get at least to the pavilion in this episode because it's one of my favorite video game environments ever. And I want to talk about why. There we go. But in order to do that, there's some more mayhem that needs to be done. God, I love the sound design in this game. Everything's so, like, ASMR-y and, Alright, can't do that now. Oh, God. Ow. Excuse me. Once again, he gets me on the backswing. Unforgivable. Hey, I leveled up. There we go. Alright. We're getting into the actual inhabited parts of the city, as you can see here. But here comes this gentleman. I love his chucks. Ah, the backswing! you really have to watch your dodging. The game is trying to really tell you that you're going to have to learn to use your parry. That just avoiding things is often not the ideal way to go about it. Although sometimes it's the only thing to do. There we go. Gruesome. What is this guy made of anyway, this red blobular material? We actually do find out about that later. It's every element of this ecosystem is actually like explained as you go through, which is super interesting. And as far as where all that power comes from to run this whole shebang, we're about to find that out too. Past the freaky, vaguely mutated tree. But yeah, here we go. These are the roots of the world. These are the world's history, the world's persistence, excuse me, brought from the home planet of the cat people, the Solarians. The roots Fusang that permeate this entire island and power everything. Which on the one hand represents nature and the mastery of these sapient beings over nature in this instance. They're just explaining like the plot. I gotta hunt down all the souls in a roaring rampage of revenge and get their soul seals. But I'm way more interested in the environmental storytelling right now. All of these hexagons, my goodness. So pretty, but also they represent culture. And here we have our first shot at King Lear, who is also based on a genuine figure. The Tiandan Council undertook the legacy of the legendary Fangxi Lear, Fangxi being essentially philosopher warrior, and initiated the Eternal Cauldron Project upon Kunlun Island, where we are. Now, the Eternal Cauldron Project, my idea, it turns out. We don't actually find out who this guy is. Presumably the martial equivalent to this guy's philosopher. But as we learn later, King Lear there was also a warrior before he turned his back on certain things. And really, as befits his sort of cross-cultural significance, it's his descendants that were the problem. But here we are. Everything is in mothballs here, and notice how it's like a really sterile indoor environment with the lights off. Here we have a smashed robot. Nothing but the sound of machinery in the background, my own footsteps, and the wheezing of this laptop. Yes. Here we are. There's my old buddy, but we cannot get at him right now, so first things first. Time to recharge our batteries. Lovely. Alright, in we go. This is my soul sanctum. This is where my soul sigil is. It's that snake-like guy right there. And this is my computer buddy. Hello. So we were declared apostate by our ruling council. And they took their revenge not only on us but on our associates, including our supercomputer. But wow, it's suddenly a lot nicer in here, isn't it? Alright, we need to get laser tortured a little bit before I can take us on a tour of the Four Seasons Pavilion. There we go.
Oh. Okay.
Beautiful. That's my, those are my Hollow Knight badges, talismans. You may notice that this game is very, very, very influenced by Hollow Knight, and as Hollow Knight was influenced by Dark Souls. Hang on, I'm going to smoke so that I don't, this low health thing, which is, from COD blops or whatever, gets away from the barriers in the screen. But, yeah, look at this beautiful, almost Seussian background here. You can make thneeds out of these trees. Oh! Hello, Xuan Xuan. What are you doing here, you scamp? Yes. Xuan Xuan has been lightly traumatized by seeing a whole bunch of horrible armored robots and decapitation machines. But he's a resilient young lad. Really, really open to new ideas, which is kind of very important for the role that he's going to play in this story. But he is now installed in our home base. We have our own boy, and he's out there looking at the scenery. These lights that glow without fire. And you will. Do I even have pinkies? Which is maybe a more important question than you might think. Yeah, suddenly all this water, the wind, the trees, the sky, the sun, all of it artificial. All of it, not only the artificiality of the sort of the managed garden out there, but the artificiality of the fact that 90% of it is simulation. But despite that, the place changes over time. It goes through all of its four seasons, and it even has its own day-night cycle, where the lights here turn on and it gets even more cozy by winter and by summer, and gradually you fill this place up with all of your friends. And then you have to essentially make the decision to destroy it, because its beauty is essentially wrong. But before we get into any of that, we're going to have to talk to Lear, because he is in the great eternal Tao, which is in these roots, and we're going to head into the root zone just for a second. Zoot. The yin, the yang. And the big empty circle on E's chest, just like my Borowski. Meanwhile, bonsai mountains with bonsai trees on them. Lear knows who we are. We don't know who Lear is. I should say like Liar or something, but he's just Lear. What can be deemed real among the myriad? What can be deemed false? Indeed. This is the kind of attitude that'll lead you to sort of abandon your kingdom to its own devices. Too much wisdom is not great for a leader to have. But first he's got to hack us a teleportation trumpet. The Fusang horn. There we go. Thank you, Lear. We're probably getting close to the place where one episode should be left. But man, yeah, no, it's definitely like I have a romantic fascination. Oh, look, it's gotten dark while we were in there. The lights are on. The wind is blowing more strongly. There are these lanterns everywhere. This is like a beautiful garden. See the tapestries are flowing in the wind. Later, when Xuan Xuan learns to hack, he will create a little terminal here, which will allow you to change the seasons, but it will also permanently mar the sky, just to remind you of that artificiality underpinning the whole experience. And there he is. He's snoozing. But I gotta repair one of our other buddies. Look at the little drawing on the robot's chest. This is a hint as to what this guy's deal is.
You so hard. But you, like you.
But he's gonna help us with our map. He's our mapping NPC. He's got a little bit of an attitude also, which is fairly enjoyable, and his own agenda. Although probably gendering him despite his voice is not the correct thing to do. The Shanghai 9000. But yeah, this is probably a good place to leave it. We've got to go and pick up the rest of our gang and, you know, wreak bloody havoc on our enemies. But yeah, no, I know that this has a greater effect on me because I'm not as familiar with the milieu that produced it, and so it's not as standard, and I can't read it as easily. And like, I know that I have like sort of various cultural and political associations with Taiwan and this particular game company that, you know, give the whole thing a particular sort of revolutionary savor. There's a lot of reasons why I love it, but at the root of it, it's just the vibe. And the vibe is on display here. But we'll see if I make more of these. At least I hope this has shown you why I think this game is great. Because it just gets more interesting from here. Alright, thank you all. Goodbye.